There's three pillars to search engine optimization: doing keyword and competitor analysis, creating an SEO-optimized website, and link building, the backbone of the internet. Most people stop once they create their website and they miss out on the most important part. In this video, I'm going to step you through my exact strategy for ranking my apps on organic search results and that little AI overview thing that pops up on some searches. Because as it turns out, search engine optimization is kind of easy. The thing is, it just takes time and persistence. You need patience, like a lot of patience. Search engine optimization is a slow game, so be prepared for that. But there are a few techniques I've discovered which nobody is doing, and I'm already starting to see early results. I probably shouldn't give away all of these techniques so early in the game, but why not? Lately, I've been building my own SEO tool. It tracks references to my apps in Google search results. Not only does it track my landing page, but also tracks my App Store listing rankings and what searches my apps are actually appearing in. There are plenty of tools out there for tracking individual websites, but I wanted something that could track apps. Not only my own apps, but also my competitor apps, to find out what keywords they're actually ranking for, what countries they're doing well in, and how to get the advantage on search engine optimization. And nothing really existed, so I built my own. This is Everrank. You can check it out at everrank.com. It's also got this built-in MCP server that you can connect to Claude or Codex to do in-depth analysis of your keywords and discover new opportunities for search engine optimization. This app, it's kind of been ready for a while now, and I've been using it myself to track my own keyword progress. And I really didn't know how to price it. Basically, it just pulls keyword information from DataForSEO.com. And originally, I was going to offer a package that allowed you to do like 3 projects and 20 keywords for $19 a month. But coming up with pricing plans, working out the use case, and getting the price right for indie developers felt like too much of a challenge. So instead, the keyword analysis, research, and all that stuff is free. You head over to Data for SEO and create your own account. Then you connect it to Everrank and, well, that's it. There's no middleman, no extra costs. Your usage is billed straight from Data for SEO. And the more people that use it, the cheaper it becomes for everyone else. Every time you call Data for SEO, it reports back on the findings to the Everrank servers. If someone else calls that same request today, it delivers the cached version from Everrank for free. The more people using Everrank, the more free requests are shared to other indie developers, and the more we all benefit. But I mean, if you want to turn that feature off, you can always go to settings, data sharing, just turn that little toggle off. So let's get into SEO for apps. First, keyword research and competitor analysis. Good SEO always starts with proper keyword research. Just like you're doing on the App Store with App Store optimization, search engine optimization is pretty similar. You want to find keywords with high search volume and low competition. But because we're not in the App Store, we also want to make sure our keywords find people actually looking for an app. We need to get the keyword intention right. So on the App Store, my app, El Taxico, would target keywords like learn Spanish. People are already on the App Store, so inherently, we know they're already looking for apps to learn Spanish. But if you target that same keyword on Google, we're going to have a lot of competition for websites that are like local teachers, universities, you name it. So a keyword like app for learning Spanish will reduce the competition while targeting potential customers who are actually looking for an app and not a teacher to learn Spanish. A good place to start when finding keywords is to go with what you're targeting on the App Store already and just make it specific to downloading apps, like app for learning Spanish app, learn Spanish on iPhone. That sort of thing. But the best place for keyword research is to find out where your competitors are actually ranking. With Everrank, we just have to add our app, find the keywords that we're already ranking for, and add some of the AI suggested keywords in there as well. While that's getting your app rankings, it's also indexing every single search result to find out who your competitors are in those Google search results. For the keyword fish identifier app, I can see the keyword has a volume of 1900 searches each month and a difficulty of 11 out of 100. I can also see in the top results that a few of my competitors are ranked. Picture Fish ranks at number 2, Fish Verify ranks number 4 and number 8, FishBrain ranks at number 10, and my app ranks at number 11. Everrank has done the heavy lifting here. It finds out who your competitors are, shows you how well they're ranking on any keyword, and also gives you a bit of an overview of search volume as well. Now that we have the keywords index, we head over to the keyword research tab at the top here. So this lets us do a bit of an in-depth gap analysis with data for SEO, but specific to our app competitors. We don't want to burn API costs searching every single site in the search results. We just want to select the competitors we want to look at. These are ranked by number of references in search results. So I'm going to select Fish Verify, Brainfish, FishBuddy. You get the point. Now you have a full competitor analysis and keyword research at your disposal. It shows the keyword itself, the volume, cost per click, difficulty, what apps are ranking for that keyword, and the relevant tags. There's no point targeting keywords with low volume. It's just kinda a waste of time. So I'll sort by volume keywords with at least 1,000 searches per month. And I also want to find keywords with the app intention, so I filtered by the tag app. In this case, there are 2 keywords that stand out: Fish Identification App and App for Identifying Fish. This will index those keywords and you'll find out if you already rank for them. Once those keywords are ranked, it will index the search results and do another deep analysis on your competitors. And once that's done, you can go back to keyword research and find more keywords that you're ranking for. Repeat this process as many times as you like for any of the regions you'd like to target. Okay, so we've got the keyword analysis done. We've done our competitor analysis. Next, we gotta build that SEO optimized site. The trick for optimizing your site for SEO is to create content for search terms or topics that users are typing into Google right now. Some people think that means just spamming Google with a bunch of AI-generated slop content stuffed with all of your keywords. Others think it's about creating blogs that spin up new articles every other day with AI. This strategy is called PSEO. The P stands for programmatic SEO. But I'm not actually a big fan of this strategy. It might work for now, but I feel like it's only a matter of time until Google actually sniffs out all of that AI slop and gives your whole site a penalty. And I'm looking at this as more of a long-term game. So I don't want to spend all this time and energy to start ranking in a few months' time, only to get banned a few months after. Instead, my strategy is broken down into 3 sections. The landing page itself, frequently asked questions and guides, like this is a capture-all to answer the main questions that most users are searching for in Google. And finally, a free web version of my app, converted to web and available to use online for free. Wait, hear me out. So you got to ask yourself, what is the actual purpose of SEO? It's to increase your organic rankings on Google, right? Of course it is. Don't be silly. Anyway, it turns out Google loves backlinks. It's like the quickest way to build your site authority and standing with Google. But if you're putting out a bunch of AI slop programmatic articles, who's really reading those? Who's going to link to them? But if you put a free version of your app built into the website, fully available within the browser for free, now you've got something people would actually like to use. You get bookmarks, you get backlinks, your site is now useful. But the trick is being able to give away a free part or perhaps even the whole app without cannibalizing app sales. Why would someone pay for a subscription to your app if it's free on the web? Currently, I'm experimenting with 2 different business models. The first is just putting it on the web for free. Check out my Pesos currency conversion app. Right now, there's a free currency converter, like my entire app, sitting on the landing page for the site. And my hope is that people will start linking to this site, bookmarking it. Maybe, just maybe, someone sees enough value in downloading the app. That's traffic from Google that I probably wouldn't have had anyway, so it's kind of a bonus. And I guess you could do like a bit of a rug pull in the future. You get enough ranking and enough backlinks that you can just direct people to the app and remove that free version from your website. The second way is just to give like a little bit of a tease on the web. Like in the case of El Taxico, you can play the first level. And maybe this gets shared around a bit, and maybe people want to unlock the rest of the game and download the app. This site then has two target markets, like people who actually want to learn Spanish in a fun way, and teachers who want to give resources to their students. Maybe then the first level is enough to get listed on teachers' resources and shared for homework. I guess we'll find out. And now that I think about it, there's probably a third way to monetize this whole thing, and that's to literally add a subscription button to your site. It's worth considering. The right strategy really depends on your app, what it does, and how you can offer a web experience that's useful, adds value, and will get bookmarked. And actually, it doesn't take that long to generate. I was able to get my entire SwiftUI game ported over to the web with a single Fable prompt. Lately, I've been thinking about software more as content. You go and you put it onto Reels, you put it onto Facebook, and you put it onto TikTok because, like, why not? It doesn't take a whole lot of extra effort and you could get more reach and eyeballs. Why not treat software the same? I'm porting it over to the web, putting it out on there. Maybe I'll get a few more eyeballs on that. Maybe I'll get a few more downloads from that. Then, to build the actual SEO optimized website, I connect Claude to the Everrank MCP server and run this prompt. It analyzes the keywords, works out which ones are best to target, and creates the optimized website for you. The easy part is now done. You've gone ahead and you've done the keyword research, and you've even created your website. Well done. But don't stop there. Most people, this is where they will stop. And then they wonder why their website just doesn't get any traction, doesn't get any reach, and Google just doesn't want anything to do with it. But the hard work actually begins now. You got to start building links to your site. And that's actually easier said than done because now you've got to reach out to site owners, to blogs, to news sites, and you've got to pitch your app to them or find places where you can advertise your app. And the best place to start is actually just Google. I like to do a quick search for blogs that review the type of app that I'm building. For El Taxico, I do a quick search for Learn Spanish Apps in URL blog. And then I just go through the search results one by one, finding a contact form or an email address to reach out to, either asking to be reviewed for their blog or offering to sponsor a blog post. Just reaching out to blog owners, I found success in getting a few backlinks. You can also do searches for open questions on Reddit and Quora from people who are specifically looking for the app that you're building. Then you write an answer that just subtly suggests your app. And I've automated this entire workflow on Everrank. While search results are being indexed, it's also busy looking for blogs, for questions, and for websites. It discovers the contact forms and the best email contacts, and then with a click of a button, it automatically drafts up a unique message to that site owner, targeted specifically to that niche and that website. And this has presented me with quite a few opportunities, and I've even had a few blog posts written about my apps so far. There's categories to find questions like on Quora and Reddit, and it automatically drafts the response to post. It finds sponsorship opportunities, guest blog opportunities, and even YouTube accounts that talk about your niche. Everrank connects your email server via POP3 and SMTP, so it can send out emails automatically and keep tabs on who has responded, making it easier to track the sites you're currently negotiating with. There's also a handy verify link option that lets you keep track of the links that you've actually paid for. So if it gets removed from their site, you'll get notified. See, SEO isn't actually that complicated, is it? It just takes some effort, a bunch of time, and plenty of patience. As long as you nail the keyword research, creating an SEO optimized site, and building those backlinks, you'll be fine. Go check out Everrank at everrank.com. It's free to download, you just got to pay for the data for SEO usage, but if you turn on data sharing, you can keep some of those costs down. You can unlock the link building and automation workflows by upgrading to the Outreach package. Check out the Everrank website for prices. I hope that was useful. A bit of a long one here. I would be very interested to see your results in 6 to 9 months.